Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I was wondering, since I don't really use the Hampton Bay Industrial for extreme experiments like, say, putting a 17 UF capacitor or doing blade configurations with this guy, I was thinking instead of using this fast motor that I have right here, which is the Canadian Hybrid Industrial, it's literal ripoff. I was basically wondering if this right here, the Hampton Bay Industrial, which has a significantly slower motor, can be just as fast as this guy with a 17 UF capacitance. I'm not sure if the motor itself can handle this because this is an entirely different motor, and this right here is an induction motor. Well, this one is more of a modern styled smaller based motor of some sort. This is more likely a class A motor with a higher, rotation rate, and this one has more torque, but this one has more of a higher rotation. And so it can handle the centrifugal force and other things that I throw at it. Well, this one has more of a torque setting, or say a torque startup. And so it may seem like it goes faster with the torque setup at start, but then it just kind of slows a little and it just sticks to the regular speed that it basically comes with. It can start up a lot more quicker, but it just would not outpace this guy, is probably my estimate. But I'm going to install this guy right here on the ceiling. I gotta probably replace the bracket on the ceiling or some sort, but I'm not sure. We will probably find out. But I was thinking putting a 16 UF capacitor, or sorry, a 17 UF capacitor in this guy, and taking this guy down and putting the Hampton Bay Industrial up and see if it can handle the 17 UF capacitor on like this, on probably almost as like this guy. I think it could, but let's just see if it makes any difference. So let's take this guy down, and we're gonna do the Jordan U style and just record it while we're just putting the fan, down, like taking the fan down, and putting this one up and putting these blades on the motor of the Hampton Bay Industrial, and see how much of a difference it is. So here it is with the fan up close. I'm using a Phillips. No, hold on. I'm using a Robinson screwdriver. It's a traditional Canadian screwdriver. People use this stuff, and so I'm a traditional Canadian. So we're going to try to get this ugly shade off. Well, the shade itself is not ugly, but the whole thing itself is not set up right. I'm going to get a light fixture for it, a proper one. Hold on. Alright, so we got this Hampton Bay Industrial right here, and it's probably the same weight as the Mateo, hold on, not the Mateo, the Trice, if I want to be honest, because it doesn't have a lot of extra motor housing or anything like that. It doesn't have any other stuff on it. It's just the motor itself. It's a large spinner motor, so so it just fits perfectly on the mounting bracket. The stuff, it's not really tight. The bolt is not really tight. Stick this up in there. This is the safety cable. I don't think it comes in your country, but it's annoying as fuck. But I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm not this is temporary. I'm not gonna leave it like that, obviously. But what we're after is the live wires. You can't touch this. By the way, I don't know why I'm touching this, but why am I? I'm not sure why I'm touching this, but you can't touch this if it's live. Well, you can touch it if you're not grounded, but if you were to touch this and you just touched the ladder, it would just shock you very badly. I had that experience before, and that shit was not fun. Alright. Now, the fan itself has a 6 UF capacitor inserted, but I will change that out with the 17. I don't think it will fit. I don't think putting 3 capacitors will fit in there, because the only thing about this fan right here in the Canadian Hybrid Industrial right here is that it has a wide range of things you can put in there. For things like this fan right here, it's not going to fit well, I don't think, but we'll see. From the looks of it, it looks pretty small, unlike this guy, because this is a 210 millimeter motor. This right here is a 188 by 18. So it's a big motor. It's a very powerful and big motor, but this right here is more of a stronger, more of a high torque motor. It can handle even its blades, the Hampton Bay Industrial blades, with ease. This guy right here will probably just struggle trying to get up to its speed if it's on a 17 UF capacitor, because obviously it's not meant for that. But we'll see. Okie dokie, so now we have two capacitors. There's one in there already. I'm actually going to take this down. I don't know why I put this up here, but I'm going to take this down, take the motor down, and just wire it on the ground because I lost a screw for it. Or, I can be a little lazy and just get a screw and just stick it in there, and the lower canopy will just hold up while I just wire up the capacitors. Alright, I did it. And it looks so ridiculous. Don't ask me why. It looks so ridiculous like this, honestly. But what we're after is the capacitor. Now, Hampton Bay Industrials are notorious for their capacitor failures. I'll tell you that right now. Hampton Bay Industrials, even though they're not even industrial grade fans, honestly. They are commercial grade, which means you can put these things in a large room with no problem. They're commercial graded, but they are not, industrial rated motors. Especially when they're energy verified, because energy verified motors are crap. I just dropped the wire nut. Alright, so I wired up 3 damn capacitors. There's the little one, and there's these 2 common ones that I used in the fans last summer. The Canadian Harbor Industrial has an 8 UF, the Hampton Bay Industrial had a 6 UF. They're both the same size, and this one is the tiny one. I got that from a Mainstays pedestal fan. So, yeah. So let's try to shove all that shit in there and wire it up, and let's see how much power and torque it has. Alright, so I did it. I wired it up, and now we're just going to do a motor run test and see if it's going to blow up or, do a lot of torquing things or some sort. But, oh shit, damn. Okay, never mind. That was a lot of torque. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, that just started up so fast. Alright, let's do that again. That was not even full speed. Oh, I hear something with it, but whatever. That doesn't sound good. It didn't sound like that with the Canadian Harbor Industrial. Sounded like a weird sound or some sort. But that's expected if you're gonna overrun this fan, if it's not rated for it. But yeah. Alright, so now we put the Hampton Bay Industrial with the Trice blades. Let's see how fast it'll start up. Oh my god! That's instantaneous, but the only... Since the motor doesn't have the good alignment with the blade irons of the Trice fan, or the Trice fan blades, I decided to just do this with it and put it on reverse because the force is, concentrated into the screw itself rather than just throwing it out of balance. It could be still out of balance, but all I'm looking is the acceleration, so yeah. Oh yeah. If I had to say it's fast, it is fast, but it's nearly not as fast as the Canadian Harbor Industrial. But I did start up really fast though. I will tell you that right now. And it's not moving as much air as it did with the Canadian Harbor Industrial. I'll tell you that right now. Probably because it's on reverse, but I can feel it going around the room. But I did the same thing with the Canadian Harbor Industrial, and it's more effective. So yeah. This, on the other hand, it's fast. It's just not very powerful. So yeah. It's not as powerful as this guy. This motor is huge. It has a lot of torque. And even though I said in the beginning, this thing has torque, but it doesn't, since I realized it doesn't have that much torque anymore as this guy. So yeah. Now I realize the Hampton Bay Industrial kind of lost this thing. It was a 17 UF capacitor as well. It's kind of weird. So it kind of lost. but the acceleration, I'll tell you that the acceleration on this thing is pretty damn, good. I'll tell you that right now. Hold on. Slow it down. Like, the acceleration is, like, bonkers. Like, it immediately starts up. That's really, really effective when it comes to acceleration, Calobs, and all that crap. But yeah, it starts up really fast, but then it just stays slower than the other fan, like this guy. So it's pretty much common. Sorry, I just have mucus on my throat. I'm kind of still sick here, so yeah. But yeah, the acceleration, if I want to be honest, that is very, very fast. So yeah, I'll take this down tomorrow. I may even do like a collab with it, but yeah, the motor on this guy is faster, way more powerful, moves more air than this guy. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.